RMA Team Radio.
Welcome all to this brand new edition of 5-Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside my co-host Albert Cita. Excuse me, I'm a little sick this week. I'm getting over something, but we're also on the phone. We have our correspondent from the East Coast, Guillermo Cita. How's it going?
Good, man. Calling from Animal Kingdom, man. Petting some animals and talking MMA. What better day, dude?
There you go. So, got a lot to talk about this week. UFC Fight Night returned after a pretty long layoff. They returned the card in Mexico City. Talking about Ronda Rousey calling it quits. Michael Bisping's saga continues, and we're going to look two parts into UFC 205, one of the biggest cards of the year, if not ever. So let's get started with round number one. UFC Return, UFC Fight Night in Mexico on Fox Sports 1 this past Saturday with the main event of Rafael Dos Anjos, former lightweight champion, going against Tony Ferguson. And for a lot of people, they're kind of billing this as the emergence of Tony Ferguson, but I think hardcore MMA fans, I know we have anyways, this guy's been around for a long time and has been a real threat for a long time. But why is it now that people are starting to recognize Tony Ferguson as a legit threat in the lightweight division, Guillermo?
I think because the way he demolished Rafael Dos Anjos, I mean, when you look at the decision, it was pretty close in terms of the judges, but I didn't think it was close at all. I think it was so one-sided. Tony Ferguson dominated a former champion. I mean, like, if he could do that to Rafael Dos Anjos, look at everybody else in that lightweight division. What he could do to him, it's pretty much a three-horse race. It's him, Khabib, and Eddie Alvarez. I mean, take Conor McGregor out of the picture because technically he should be in the featherweight division. But that lightweight division, I think it's a three-horse race, and it's very interesting to see if Tony Ferguson gets the next shot or the next shot at Khabib Nurmagomedov. So that would be interesting.
So, Albert, excuse me, Tony Ferguson now won 9 consecutive fights, I think all in the lightweight division. No fighter's ever done that. Not Frankie Edgar, not BJ Penn, not Benson Henderson, not Anthony Pettis. And he also has 9 active. That's like, what, I think 2 behind, or 1 behind John Jones. He's like right in the mix of active, longest active winning streak in the UFC. What is it about this guy that makes him so good and so dangerous?
You know what's funny is, like, every single time they have a guest MMA play-by-play guy, I learned so much more about MMA other than having Joe in there.
Yeah.
But I think Brian Stan said it the best. He keeps switching up his training camp, and like he adjusts his. He always does something unique every single time, and you can see it in his fight style. Like I think when you first early on saw him, he was kind of an awkward fighter or whatever, but he didn't switch it up as much as he switched it up this last fight. He didn't do more crazier moves that he does now. I think he's really evolved his game to like where he morphed it into what it is now. Because if you watch that Michael Johnson loss, it's way like that. Yeah. Doesn't even look like the Kokoyev now.
Well, he has his advantage. He's what 5'11", super lanky, almost like a Nate Diaz type of body.
But the crazy part is he doesn't really use his reach that much.
Because he's like in and out.
I was telling you, I was gonna say, we were watching the fight, and I'm over here on the East Coast, and I was texting you guys. Tony Ferguson is probably the most well-rounded fighter I've ever seen at 155. I mean, like, you talk about every aspect of MMA, you see it out there. His wrestling, jiu-jitsu, fight, or stand-up. I mean, it's all there. This guy's scary.
My only, like, I wouldn't even say, like, criticism, whatever, is the fact, he's able to roll with the punches on some of the hits, but I think he takes a lot of big hits, and that's, like, dangerous, like, super dangerous to do.
Yeah. Well, go to Guillermo's point. Tony Ferguson, he has 9 wins by knockout, 8 wins by submission, and 5 wins by decision. So this guy is pretty well-rounded. But, yeah, I think he's, like, right up there with the title. I think he's basically waiting for the winner of...
I'm going to tell you guys something. I know it's going to bring up a little bit of an argument, but Tony Ferguson, to me, 155 and lower, there is nobody that can match up with him right now, currently in the planet. Not a Dominic Cruz, not a Jose Aldo, not a Conor McGregor, not an Eddie Alvarez, not a Khabib Nurmagomedov. Tony Ferguson, to me, is the number 1 fighter, 155 and lower.
So basically, he's a champion without the belt, is that what you're saying?
He's a champion without the belt. He's had some unfortunate circumstances of either injury or Khabib Nurmagomedov being scared to fight this guy. And because of that, he hasn't had the opportunity to fight for the championship. I think what was missing under Tony Ferguson was maybe the name fighters.
Yeah.
But now he has Rafael Dos Anjos under his belt. Who's the other one that defeated him was Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Eddie Alvarez. So now there's no excuse why Tony Ferguson should not be in title contention. I mean, like he
Well, of
should
course,
be
he's
fighting
been
for the belt.
He's
He
been in
should be
title
fighting for
contention,
the belt. No, there's no overlooking this guy anymore.
Look,
He should be
I'm
fighting for
about to
the
cut you up real quick
So-
because I'm gonna say this. It's Khabib's spot until it's taken from him. I think.
But to me, it's like this Khabib versus Tony Ferguson feud. It's been brewing, and
Yeah, but then injuries.
Yeah,
come on.
they both got hurt, and then now they're paired up with something
Correct.
different. So, and then it's like,
But you could say the same thing about Khabib. Why he hasn't had a title title shot. Same thing you could say about Tony Ferguson. It's just unforeseen circumstances or unfortunate circumstances that these other like flashier guys, flashier names have gotten title shots ahead of these guys. But Khabib and Tony Ferguson, look at their resume, man. There is nobody in 155 or lower besides Mighty Mouse that can match that.
So that's it for round number 5. But before this round's over, actually you went off on things, but also the return Diego Sanchez defeated Marcin
No,
Held.
you know what? I don't want to talk about Diego Sanchez. Let's talk about Tony Ferguson in round 2 again.
Ricardo Lamas got a victory over Charles Oliveira, super impressive. Alexa Grasso made her debut for the UFC. I think she'll be a future star in the strawweight division. And then also Eric Perez returned to the winning ways against Felipe Andrade. So overall, good showing for the Mexican fighters on Saturday. So that's it for round number 2. That's for round number 1. Don't stick around. We're come back and talk about Ronda Rousey and if she's going to retire relatively soon or not. But before we do that, I want to talk about one of our great sponsors, 5 Rounds Clothing. They offer unique MMA apparel and accessories. They incorporate the culture, style, and attitude of MMA. Because, MMA fans got a certain little attitude against them, right, Albert?
They sure do.
MMA is not just a sport, it's a lifestyle. And they're constantly evolving and improving to become the best fightwear company possible in the MMA world. They make the fighter and fight fan look good. Check out their line of t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and other great accessories at 5rounds.clothing. And follow them on Twitter at 5roundswear, on Instagram at 5rounds_5rounds. Get it on. So do not go anywhere. We'll come back for round number 2. Welcome back. Time for round number 2. So let's switch gears. Talk about the big fishes in the UFC, the big stars. Ronda Rousey is making her return to UFC 207, December 30th. She's getting a title shot against Amanda Nunes. She was on the Ellen Show promoting her comeback / event, and Ellen asked her, basically, this is going to be pretty much it, or how much longer do you want to keep doing it? And Ronda Rousey said that this is one of the last ones. I'm wrapping it up to paraphrase here. And this is kind of a little funny to me. I personally think that if Ronda Rousey wins at UFC 207, she's done. She's gonna retire. I think she's gonna retire without facing
Holly Holm.
No, Cyborg. I think this is like a marketing ploy for the UFC to try to make it, she retired a champion, the greatest women fighter of all time. Look at her. She came back and defeated Amanda Nunes, who had nothing to do with her, leaving in the first place. Am I just reading too much into this, or is this kind of...
No, I think you're right on the button. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the matchup between her and Amanda Nunes favors Ronda Rousey a lot. Like, a lot. I think if it was anybody else, I think they probably would have eased her into the championship.
Yeah.
But I think because they know that matchup is favorable to Ronda Rousey, they're perfectly fine just giving her the title shot. And with the intentions of, if she wins, you could do the greatest of all time. They'll probably even do a big old redemption story that she came back from that loss even stronger and this and that. But in reality, she never, to really redeem that loss, she has to face someone like the person she lost, someone like Holly Holmes, or even Holly Holm herself, or even the Chris Cyborg fact. If that was the fight next, I think that's a redemption because she beat like her the one that everyone always talks about and stuff like that. But I'm leaning towards you. I think if she wins, I think she's gonna retire.
Yeah, well, Guillermo, Ronda Rousey did such a good job cleaning out this division that if she does win, who's left her to fight? I mean,
No, I don't think it's that, Alex. I think it's a protection of her legacy, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
Because we're getting to a point where all these women fighters are actually starting to catch up. They're starting to, there's a bigger gap in the bridge, and now the bridge has got closer to in terms of competition against Ronda Rousey. And I think she sees it in the writing, the UFC sees it in the writing, and I think because she was so loyal and brought so much success to the UFC, they're actually trying to protect her. She's trying to protect. Instead of piling up all these losses, she's trying, it seems like that hurt her, that loss against Holly Holm, but she's trying to protect her legacy. UFC's trying to protect her legacy. It's, like Albert said, I think this Amanda Nunes works perfect for her. She recaptures the belt, let's say, hypothetically, then she can retire. And you can talk about her being one of the best women's fighter of all time without even ever facing Cyborg.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
I think it's all protection, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, too. Let's say she does win the title. Who's there to fight? I mean, why would she? I mean, other than the redemption shot against Holly Holm, but why would she want to take that fight again? And then there's only two people left for her to fight. Is Cyborg and
honestly,
Holly Holm. I mean, you can make obviously you make the argument for Julianne Pena or Raquel Pennington, but they're not really named enough for her to fight. So, I mean, right?
Yeah. Like you said, like I wish you could say like Raquel Pennington or Julianne Pena, but in all honesty, it's like that's not really those aren't fights enough for her to stay.
Yeah.
The ones that for her to stay are the relevant ones, which is probably two, which is Holly Holmes and Cyborg. And Holly Holmes seems like a far stretch now since she technically has 2 straight losses. Yeah. And the Chris Cyborg, who knows what weight class they can ever agree on.
Well, how close is Joanna Jay in terms of weight to Ronda Rousey?
Because it's a big gap, bro. It's a huge gap.
Because can you guys
125? I think she said so.
Because if you could think about it, you had that super fight at a catch weight, for example. Right. I mean, that would
they would have to meet like at 130.
Guillermo, you need to contact Scott Croker and get a job at Bellator, bro. Because these fights that come up, Mighty Mouse versus Tony Ferguson, Joanna Jay versus Ronda Rousey.
You're just going all over the weight classes.
You belong in Bellator, bro.
No, but we were talking about Ronda Rousey. What other fights does she have out there? I mean, like that would be a blockbuster if that would ever be to transpire. But
like I said, there is no way that one can happen, bro. No way.
I mean, going back to the other contenders out there, Julianne Pena she's been very vocal about Ronda Rousey returning and giving title shots and calling her a bunch of names, but unless Pena could gather up more noise by talking trash in the media, then she might get a title shot, or the opportunity to face Rousey, which is probably bigger than a title shot right now. But, I mean, other than that, I think it is a legacy protection. Guillermo, Albert, like I said, I think if she wins, she's done. So, redemption story, she could, retire on top and have her
even
in the
if she
UFC
loses,
Hall of Fame, which means nothing, next year. So...
Well, even if she loses, I think she's done.
Yeah,
I think, but they left the door open for any possible. Like that's what she said. One of the last fights you might see me, because they'll leave the door open in case she loses, or for redemption. You want to go on the winning end instead of the losing end.
Yeah, so it's just all dirty, big corporate marketing employed by the UFC and now Zuffa and WMG, whatever it's called. But you know what's not dirty? One of our main sponsors, Rockin Green. Rockin Green is an award-winning manufacturer of eco-friendly cleaning products designed to make cleaning easier and greener. Rockin Green products are the best laundry detergents and all-natural cleaners because they are made with biodegradable plant-based ingredients. They are Spectic and gray water safe. They are never tested on animals. Visit rockingreen.com for more information and shop all the great line of products, and follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Rockin Green. Just stay clean, guys. Eco-friendly. So that's it for round number 2. We'll come back for round number 3.
Hey, Alex. Yeah. Are you an English major?
Yes.
I like the play on words.
There we go. And we'll come back and talk about Michael Bisping and how his saga continues. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Time for round number 3. I know since we're talking about Michael Bisping a lot lately. Something I don't like to do, but whatever. He's in the news. He's interesting. So let me see how we do this. So let's go back. So he was calling out GSP and then said, if I won't fight GSP, I'll fight Nick Diaz. Mm-hmm. He wants 2 big-time money fights. He's willing to put the belt on the line for him, right? So we all know that UFC Fight Night was canceled when Luke Rockhold got injured, so that leaves Jacare without an opponent.
Wide open. He's been training camp. It's kind of his fight was right near to UFC 206, which was Michael Bisping trying to aim for to fight a GSP or Nick Diaz. Jacare said, "Hey man, I'm here. Let's do it." And all of a sudden, Michael was, I have another orbital issue. My eye's messing up, so I'm going to need surgery, so I'm just going to back out. I'm not going to fight for a while now. Mm-hmm. This kind of turned out to the fans is like rearing into him. I kind of like, okay, what the heck? So you're willing to fight through an injury for GSP and Nick Diaz, but Jacare, a legit contender for your belt, the guy who's earned it. No, I actually have, my eyes kind of messed up, so... Is he running here, or just obviously he said, I want the big money fight. Yeah, because he said on the Fox Sports 1 UFC tonight. He said pretty much like if he were to fight GSP or whatever, it would have been close to like $2 to $3 million for him. Yeah. And if he fought Jacare, it was $250,000. So for the high risk, high reward isn't the reward isn't there. Yeah. And he did say he had a fractured orbital bone and he was getting injections on his knee. He said for $2-3 million he would have sucked it up for it, but for $250,000, that guy better wait until he's good and good and ready.
I'm saying that he's not a star then, right? Because he
Yeah.
can make that money on his own. He needs,
Exactly.
He needs to leech on to the names of Nick Diaz and GSP. Is that just me, Garrett? Am I hating on Michael Bisping, or are you agreeing with me here?
No, I totally agree. This guy's ducking people left and right. If I'm Jacare, I just sit, dude. Jacare's in a great position because
Is he really in a great position? Because we have a huge matchup just around the corner with Chris Weidman and Yoel Romero. So
yeah, but
technically,
after that
technically
matchup,
he could be sitting down for even more months if one of those guys gets the fight against Michael Bisping.
Yeah, but Albert,
but
if you could. I was gonna say, if Chris Weidman and Yoel Romero, they come out clean, yes. In a realistic world, Michael Bisping holds off for the winner out of that.
And then despite that Yoel Romero got suspended for his PED use or whatever he used, he still has a win over Jacare.
Yeah, but let's say Chris Weidman wins, but he doesn't come out clean. Let's keep it real. Sometimes you guys, let's say he gets hurt in the match.
He gets damaged.
Or, he takes some damage. It's not going to match up nice and clean with Michael Bisping because you're talking about almost like 6 months from now before you see Chris Weidman versus Michael Bisping or Yoel Romero versus Michael Bisping. 4 months from now, you could potentially have Jacare versus Michael Bisping just by Jacare holding off. I mean, this Luke Rockhold.
So are you Dana Whiting us right now and saying that the only way Chris Weidman gets that belt is if he has an impressive finish, but if it goes to decision and gets beat up, it goes to Jacare by default?
Yeah, and so Luke Rockhold getting hurt actually worked in the favor of Jacare because now you have a guy that's in shape, ready to fight. If I'm the promoter, Jacare is freaking a great freaking fight for Michael Bisping. It's just Michael Bisping doesn't want the fight. Let's keep it real. He doesn't want the fight.
I mean, we should have known since day one when when he told everybody, "No, you're not fighting me. You're not fighting me. I call the shots here. I'm the champion now." Waving around the belt like it's a toy. This is what we had in store, right? So he's calling out guys out of retirement instead of the legit number one. And this has been stacked for a while now. I mean, we had those three guys, Jacare, Luke Rockhold, and Chris Weidman. We're all ready for title shots, and now we got a guy who's not wanting to fight anybody. So,
I mean, you know what would be funny though is you have Tim Kennedy versus Rashad Evans, right?
Which is another big. And keep in mind, Tim Kennedy has a win over Michael Bisping.
So I could potentially see, you know what? I'll go around Jacare and give me the winner out of Rashad Evans and Tim Kennedy.
Yeah.
I could. You're talking about money wise. I mean, Rashad Evans has been proven to get people to buy cards and stuff like that. So I could see that, and then you always have that America versus England type of thing with Tim Kennedy. So if he took that Dan Henderson fight, I could see him taking that Tim Kennedy fight.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Tim Kennedy can literally talk his way into that fight with Michael Bisping if he wins. Because two things: one, he can make both guys have been victims of guys that have been caught using illegal drugs.
Yeah.
Tim Kennedy being Yoel Romero and Michael Bisping being Vitor Belfort. So they have something right there in common, which I think they both can get behind. And the fact that Tim Kennedy's last win, even though it was all the way back in 2014, his last win was against Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
And Michael Bisping, he has a short fuse, and all you have to do is like, bro, I beat you, and then boom, there you go. But I really do think Tim Kennedy could potentially seal this with the win over Rashad Evans.
Yeah, well, even Bisping started to feel the heat now with his recent antics. He posted a picture on Instagram of his foot. He's like, here's a random picture of my foot for you guys to talk crap about. So. That should be it's pretty funny.
Michael Bisping is a scaredy cat. If he really wants to be that money fighter, beat the elite guys. Don't go after these like lower ranked guys.
Yeah. All right. So we're over here. That's it for round number 3. We're gonna take a small break and come back into the championship rounds, and 2-part preview of UFC 205 because the card is so stacked. We need 2 rounds to cover it. So do not go anywhere. Before we do that, one of our great partnerships with Redemption Martial Arts, the RMA Foundation is a nonprofit organization that is out there to bring the awareness and stop bullying, whether we do not physical confrontation, but do verbal confrontation. Learn how to avoid these situations. They have a great job of using martial artists now who help people who've been bullied to, we call it verbal jiu-jitsu or verbal judo to avoid these confrontations. If you're interested in want more information, it's a nonprofit organization, so it's a great great organization. Go to redemptionmartialarts.com and follow them on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, all that stuff there. So it should be great stuff. So don't go anywhere. We're set to UFC 205 preview coming up. Welcome back to end of the championship rounds. Now UFC 205 is slowly approaching, or slowly or quickly approaching. What is it for you, Guillermo? Is it coming up fast or coming up slow?
You know what? It was going slowly. Now it's picking up steam. I mean, it seems like just in a matter of days it'll be here. But I'm excited because we had this fight night in Mexico, and it seems like now action's really picking up really quick.
You know, it was a good thing that we had a little break, huh? Now we're back into it.
It's a good thing that BJ Penn got hurt.
Yeah, is it coming up slow or is it coming up pretty fast?
I think it's coming up pretty fast, but I can't wait to hear all night long and the new everything, because I think there's going to be 3 champions that day. 3 new champions that day.
So this is the UFC's debut in New York City, the Madison Square Garden, the mecca of combat,
of everything, of entertainment.
WrestleMania 1 was held there. WrestleMania 10 was held there. WrestleMania 20 was held there. So
Lion King the musical was born there.
All that good stuff. So this card is so huge. It's a stack card, even from the prelims on, from the Fight Pass prelims on. It's going to be a lot of worthy counts.
The stackness is there.
You guys want to start from the bottom, work way up, or what?
You want to start with the Kamoosh, or do you want to start with Khabib?
Start with Khabib because we got.
Well, actually, Rashad Evans. We touched on Rashad Evans. So, we can start Khabib.
What are the first 3 matches, Albert? Lined up.
All right. So, if you want to go to the prelims, we got Liz Kamoosh in there, Rafael Natal, Tim Boach, Thiago Alves versus Jim Miller. And then we're going to kick off the prelims with Vicente Lococh, and then Rashad Evans and Tim Kennedy, Khabib Nurmagomedov and Michael Johnson, and Jeremy Steven versus Frankie Edgar.
Let's start with Khabib.
Khabib it is.
Okay, go. So,
I think it's a huge matchup, of course, because it's a very rare sighting when we see Khabib, and when we see Khabib, we should get pumped up. And if everyone remembers, Michael Johnson had that super, super hot streak until he ran into Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
And that was controversial.
Who did he just knock out? He knocked out somebody. Who do you?
He beat Dustin Poirier.
Okay.
So I think he kind of got all his wins back because Dustin Poirier had a vicious ass streak going on too before he lost. He was coming off of a big win over Bobby Green, who he KO'd, and then Michael Johnson came back and KO'd Dustin Poirier. So I think it's a huge matchup. Essentially, I think Khabib can steal all the wins from Michael Johnson that he just accomplished.
I disagree with that.
Why you disagree?
Because if Khabib puts on a boring show,
no, there's gonna be a finish. It's gonna be a finish,
if there's no finish, what Tony Ferguson
We're comparing
did
to
last
Tony.
night,
Yeah, good point. We're comparing to Tony Ferguson, the top 2 contenders.
Okay.
Right now. Okay, so go ahead, Guillermo.
I was gonna say, given Tony Ferguson's outstanding performance last night, if you have Khabib just lay down and wrestle Michael Johnson, it's gonna actually hurt him instead of helping him, even if it's a matchup against Michael Johnson.
Well, 2 things. One, I told you got to beat Khabib to take that spot, first of all. Second of all, his last fight, I think Khabib was very aware of what people were saying about him, just, kind of doing wrestling.
Albert.
He destroyed and finished his last opponent.
Have you heard of a guy called John Fitch?
John Fitch, I think I've heard of him. Horrible tattoo.
Used to be Albert's favorite fighter.
Didn't the guy go like on a 12-fight win streak or something?
Dude, it was like more than that. It was like 14, 16, 18, 20.
And what hurt him the most was his wrestling, right? And
no, it was that ugly tattoo on his ankle, bro. That's what hurt him the most. He wasn't marketable.
my worry with Khabib, if he doesn't get a finish here, Tony Ferguson has just jumped and took in his spot.
Yeah.
Easily. Hands down, easily. To me, Tony Ferguson gained so much momentum last night, it's not even funny. So Khabib has to match that or surpass that to at least have a shot for the next title shot.
Okay, so let's jump up next. I got Frank Edgar versus Jeremy Stevens.
Say his full name, Alex. Frankie 2 times Edgar versus Jeremy Stevens.
This is the first time he's fighting Jeremy Stevens. So, is this a bigger fight for Edgar or for Stevens, Guillermo? I mean, you're a lot. You've been Frankie's fan since I can't even remember. You've been a Frankie fan
since he found out FE stands for iron.
Yeah. Is it bigger fight for Frankie or bigger fight for Jeremy?
You know what? We can. I was gonna say we can skip this because it really doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Frankie at this point.
Hey, Jeremy Stevens is hot right now. Look, I'm pretty sure he is the saltiest guy in this whole card. Jeremy Stevens is the saltiest guy after being disrespected by Conor McGregor.
That guy?
And I bet you he is dying.
Who the F is that guy?
He is dying to win that fight by knockout, and literally, I already know what he's gonna say. He's like, you know who I am now?
Yeah.
Come on now, man.
So okay, Miesha Tate versus Raquel Pennington. This is a bigger fight for Pennington, I think, because if she defeats a former champion, she's right up there with Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena. Miesha Tate's kind of, I think, in limbo right now, where she got defeated pretty one-sidedly by Amanda Nunes.
It's crazy because Miesha Tate has everything to lose, and Raquel is the only one that has everything to gain.
Yeah.
If Miesha wins, it doesn't really knock her up that high.
Yeah.
If Raquel wins, she skyrockets all the way up. But if Raquel loses, I think she stays in the same spot. But if Miesha Tate loses, we could pretty much start talking about retirement.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for round number 4. We have a lot to talk about. The round went by so fast. We're sticking around. We're going to talk about round number 5. We're on top of the second part of UFC 205, so it should be great. But before we do that, I want to talk about one of our great partners here in Fightbook MMA. FightbookMMA.com is the only place where you will find real combat news from all over the world. A website you can trust with accurate news from MMA, kickboxing, and boxing, and from local promotions to all the major ones like UFC, Bellator, World Series of Fighting, RFA, Titan FC, King of the Cage, Golden Boy Promotions, all that good stuff. So find them on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at FightbookMMA. And that's a great podcast section with a great MMA podcast. We're on there as well. So that's FightbookMMA.com. So don't go anywhere. Round number 5, UFC 205 Part 2 coming up. Welcome back. Time for round number 5. Let's continue our look at UFC 205, which takes place this Saturday, November 12th at Madison Square Garden, live on pay-per-view. So Kevin Gastelum versus Don Cerrone, a fight I'm super excited for. I mean, this could be the re-emergence of Kevin Gastelum. If he beats Don Cerrone, this guy's living for this guy, right?
Yeah, I really do think it's a bad matchup for Cowboy Cerrone. I really do think that. But with that said, Kevin Gastelum's the one I think that has the pressure, not Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah.
I think Cowboy Cerrone's certified himself in the UFC, and I think if Cerrone gets a loss, I think everyone thinks the same thing. He was at 170 against a tough matchup.
Yeah.
But if Kevin Gastelum loses, he's put in a tough position because he wins one, lose one, wins one, lose one lately, and you don't want to be in that category.
Yeah, okay.
And he's coming off one of the biggest wins he has, which is Johnny Hendricks, so he really has to keep picking up steam here.
Yeah, like you said, if Don Cerrone loses, well, he lost a guy who's really natural.
Exactly.
Natural middleweight or something, whatever. But I think it's a big fight. So let's go to one of the big ones, the middleweight division, Chris Weidman versus Yoel Romero. I think, Guillermo touched on it earlier, if Weidman wins definitively, he's getting a shot against Michael Bisping, right? Because it's the promotion's there. UK versus US, All-American, Chris Weidman against the Brit, the Count, Michael Bisping. Mm-hmm. I think the title shot's his to lose, unfortunately for Josh.
Yeah. I really do think it's the title shots for Chris Weidman to lose. But at the same time, though, all these matchups I see a lot of one-sided. Because if you look at your Romero, if you want to criticize him in any way, is that he doesn't have that much stamina. Yeah. Because he has so much muscle, he gets tired in the later rounds. And everybody knows Chris Weidman puts on a lot of pressure. He can get that takedown and make it a very, very long day for Yoel.
And I have a question.
Yeah.
Why did Yoel Romero get
What did he get popped for?
Quick? Yeah, no, but not Yoel Romero, Chris Weidman. Remember, he was undefeated for like the longest, and then he loses one time to Luke Rockhold, and now everybody seems like discredit this guy, you know?
Well, because honestly, Guillermo, go back. I don't think people were convinced he beat Anderson Silva. I think people still think Anderson Silva beat himself.
I agree a little bit, but I mean, like, I think this is all Chris Weidman for him to reestablish himself as a star he once was. I mean, I don't know how someone falls so hard.
That's a good point.
After one loss. So I think, and Yoel Romero, I mean, like, he's always going to have the asterisk around him, even if he does win. So I think Chris Weidman has more to gain out of this than actual Yoel Romero.
Yeah, no, that's what we're saying. I think the title shot's his if he wants it.
This is also the first fight for Yoel post PED usage. So see how small he looks, or at least anything different physically wise. So let's move to the women's strawweight championship bout between.
Well, we're gonna get our first new champion.
We're just gonna go to first name Joanna J against Carolina K, because I don't want to dare butcher their last names.
KKK.
Two from Poland. Don't say that.
Oh no, I meant double K, guys. I meant double K.
Poland should be very proud. The two best fighters are fighting for each other, are fighting against each other for the women's strawweight belt. Joanna J is 12-0. Carolina's 10-0.
And trust me,
it's the first time 2 undefeated fighters have fought for a championship in the UFC.
Ooh, maybe.
If anybody gives us information, let us know, like, on the comment section below, or tweet us out.
That's a good one.
It's the first time 2 undefeated fighters could be fighting for the championship. Sounds like it might be, but I don't know. But
I can get very behind Carolina. I'll tell you that right now. She is very easy on the eyes. I like her fighting style. And we saw a very entertaining battle against her and Rose Namajunas.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this is going to be a really good stand-up fight. And I see Carolina winning.
Yeah. So we got Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Thompson.
Wonder
This is all Wonder Boy for me
Boy.
here.
This is where I see the first title change.
Really? Okay.
And that's where I see the second title change right here.
Why is that, Guillermo?
I'm just really impressed by Stephen Wonderboy
Yeah, who is it nowadays?
Thompson.
You know what's funny? You know who was the first person to call out Wonder Boy? Do you remember, Guillermo, a long time ago when we were at a
Not
different
you.
studio? It was me.
Not you.
Go back to the archives, bro. I called it.
I just think Wonderboy can avoid the heavy punches from Tyron Woodley, and I think that's what's gonna propel him to get this victory. If he can do his long kicks and stuff like that, and create a lot more distance, I think he has a great shot at this. So I think strategically, Wonderboy Thompson has the advantage.
And this fight's keeping the tradition of post GSP era of stand-up fighters fighting for the belt. Robbie Lawler did a good job of ushering a new era of the welterweight division. Woodley and Stephen Thompson should carry that division. This is going to be a stand-up fight, a great violent fight, hopefully. So, main event: Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez,
The third new champion.
the third new champion. Conor McGregor is walking away, a multiple-time champion, multi-weight class
Yeah.
champion.
At the same time.
I
He's
mean,
gonna have one belt on one arm, he's gonna have another belt on the other arm. He's gonna be a 2-time champion.
I don't see it happening.
The only way I see it happening is Eddie Alvarez catches him, early, or he gets a lot of takedowns.
So worst case scenario, if McGregor loses, is it the end of McGregor, like the hype train, or is he still be hype?
No, he's gonna be forced to go to featherweight, and if he loses his championship belt in featherweight, then it's the end of Conor McGregor.
I just hope Eddie Alvarez actually wins. I'm tired of Conor McGregor.
Wow,
It's overhyped now.
it's all right, Guillermo. Because when Conor McGregor wins, that train is gonna get a lot bigger, a lot longer, so he can just jump right back in, bro. You can just jump right back in after that win.
A lot of room on it.
I was just gonna say, because Eddie Alvarez is very well at sticking to the game plan, and that's what's gonna help him out.
Yeah, he's a professional MMA artist. So UFC 205, I know you'll be watching. I'll be watching. It's gonna be an exciting week coming up. So make sure to follow FiveRoundMMA on Twitter and Instagram to keep up with the latest stuff. At FiveRoundMMA, it's FIVE. Like us on iTunes. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to iTunes.
Just like us.
And
Hey,
Podomatic.
hey,
Yeah.
Albert,
What?
Eddie Alvarez, please make MMA great again.
There
Oh,
you go.
no.
And visit FiveRoundMMA.com. UFC 205 this Saturday live on pay-per-view from Madison Square Garden. What do you got, Albert?
I just want to say with Guillermo's comment right now, a lot of MMA fighters actually support Trump, and at first it bothered me, but then I started thinking, you know what? They get punched in the head for a living, so I can see why they go for Trump.
Wow.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Go and vote. Guillermo, what do you got? Nothing? Good?
Oh yeah, cream of the crop.
You are now listening to FRMMA Radio.